Hi everyone that's listening and everyone's listening to recording. As always, this webinar is about dealing with super successful people in our industry. And today I'm grateful for the time of Lee Flanagan. Those who don't know him, I don't know if you've been living under a rock or something on LinkedIn, but Leanne's Bespoke, they're a life insurance brokerage. They're enormous. They've built themselves up. And Lee's personal brand, I think, is really important to discuss. I think it's really useful to brokers to understand how important that is in their recruitment and that kind of thing as well. So I won't talk for too long. I know Lee's loves to talk, so I will pass you over, Lee. And if I could just ask initially, if you can tell people, anyone that doesn't know, I'd like to talk about you personally, how you came about the business and the kind of the evolution of Bespoke, if that's all right.
Of course, yeah. First of all, Marcus, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Wonderful what you do, mate. How I got into the industry, is that?
Yes.
So I left school. I played football at Hull City. I'm from a place in Middlesbrough called Winniebanks, which I'm very proud of. Very working class, rough area. I'm from a very working class, rough family. Brilliant though, you know, superb. I've never sold anything in my life, and I went and played football for Hull City. Come home, I got a job playing what we call Northern League football, which is like semi-pro, which a few of our lads, Aaron Burns and Nathan Steele, a few guys still do at the minute. I think sports people have made the best salespeople, by the way. Then we evolved, and I come home. I got a job in Magnet Warehouse, Magnet Kitchens, doing like 12-hour shifts, 3 rotating shifts, which I hated. In my late 20s, when my career started coming to a close and an end, we always revert to type as human beings. My type, what I'd always known was, I grew up around crime and drugs, and it was just second nature for me. And I got involved with the wrong people, but I had to take full accountability, and I got involved with a lot of dark things. I ended up with a really bad drug addiction. I lost my house. I ended up with about 100 grand's worth of debt. Homeless, alienated from all my family, all my friends, my little girl, my stepson at the time, Bailey. And I was just really out on a limb. And every day for me was just a case of, I'll probably kill myself today, either through the drugs or just intentionally through suicide. And somewhere along the line, I got a job interview selling insurance for Combine Insurance Company of America. I don't know if anyone remembers them, but no, that was a proper breeding ground. A guy called W. Clement Stone, a legend in life insurance and insurance in America. He founded that company in the early 1900th century, early 1900s, I think it was. But either way, wonderful, very face-to-face, very direct, get yourself out there script. A business that was very scalable, it was done on volume, fantastic model. It was a really great learning experience. I met Terry Blackburn, my business partner, best pal there, Oliver Lodge, who for me is the best salesman in the life insurance industry, bar none. And it's really important to have a running partner there, just pull me through. And I moved slowly away from who I was to who I am. The demon of drugs stayed with me, my mental health issues, and they stay with me as well. That's just a constant battle for me. I'm a very flawed character, but I'm really good at insurance and really good at sales, and I think I'm a really good guy. And we built a great brand at Bespoke. Started 7 years ago, the Teesside branch. We had 3 members of staff. I couldn't get signed off, Marcus. You know, when you try to get people through the hoops that all these networks put on. I had like 70 grand's worth of debt at that time. It would scale down from 100 grand, and I had to put payment plans in place. I had to show them every single thing about my past, which was very humiliating, humbling experience to sort of say to people who were giving you a job. But I was very lucky. I had a guardian angel in Richard Coulson, who seen something in me. The first time he seen me, he said they were looking for something in someone. He just didn't think he'd find it in the Windmill Hotel in Hartlepool, meeting me, and we hit it off, and he's mentored me, and I'm just very fortunate. I've got a lot of great people around me, and through hard work, dedication, and good, brilliant people in Bespoke, we're now at 100 people across the 3 branches at Health, Newcastle, and Teesside, and we're the #1 firm in Primary. So quick dash through, but there you go.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Just touching on that, what you mentioned then, because I think it's important for kind of young brokers and young business owners and that kind of thing about the mentorship. Because I think, I mean, we actually have a same mentor. I met Tom through you, but not just Tom. I've got 5 or 6. I think it's super important to have. So, talk to me about what that meant for you with Richard and your other mentors and that kind of thing. How that kind of works in your business and your life.
Of course, yeah, brilliant. If you're going to go to Everest, you're going to go through some really, really, really extreme conditions, and it can be quite life-threatening. So the best thing to do is probably get a guide, a tour guide, an expert who's walked the path and knows the best and safest way to get there. And if you get someone who cares for you and who can get there in a really enjoyable way that's fast and can benefit you and your family, then why would you want to try and walk up Everest alone? It's crazy. And in Richard, in Tom Smith, who's our mutual friend and mentor, who's great. I've had some great mentors. I get mentored by people who work for me and with me as well. So I really believe in mentoring. I think that, you know, it's so important to watch and learn from other people because it adds an air of expertise, experience, humility, and you learn to have an open mind, and you can pick up all the best things from mentors. It's so important to success.
Yeah, absolutely agree, 100%. I think, like you said then, I don't think mentorship is just about that person that you speak to once a week and drives you through. Like, I know I've been privileged to sit up in on your sales management meetings, which has taught me things in my business. And every time I go to speak to one of my clients, we always learn the benefit of working with great people is that they're like mentors. They teach us a little bit every time. So we copy a little bit of everyone's business, I think, just to kind of to get the best for us. So yeah, 100% agree with that. So obviously Bespoke now, super successful, got lots of people, you know, how did it grow? Or maybe the growing pains we could go through from that kind of 3 people at the beginning, because it's grown into a monster and some people didn't get there. Some people have fallen by the wayside and some people just haven't had that growth that you have. What do you think separates you from those guys?
Oh God, there's a number of things, Matt. I think like people always try and pin things down to one thing, one specific thing that made you successful or separated you from the rest. But the reality is, like little bricks build big castles. It's a number of little things. I think we're all the sum of small parts, and the people would be the thing that separated us. The people that are involved. We've got a clear goal.
Do you think that initial core makes the big difference? Because you can build around a core quite easily, I think, and then if people fall by the wayside on the outer rim, if you like, of your business, do you think that's kind of luck, or do you think that's what you went for at the beginning, like that solid core of people that probably still with you now and you work with now? Is that? Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
Well, coming and going. Some people have been with me since day one. Some people have been with me for 5, 6 years. I think, you know, you surround yourself with good people. What they do is you create what we call a cultural architect. They'll come into the business, and our great leaders and great people, what they do is they affect the group, they influence the group around you. And great teams always reflect their leaders and the key people in the group. Leaders can be captains, they can be skippers, they can be coaches, they can be managers, leaders, owners, businesses. Same as sports, it's quite a great point of reference. But great teams always mirror their leadership team and the cultural architects within the group. And we're very fortunate. If you look at the people that we've got in our group, we did a session yesterday where we sort of, along with Richard Coulson, who's my mentor and certainly the best I've seen in our industry, and John Round, who sits on like 100 boards. He's just a wonderful man, very experienced, intelligent man off the Richter, really, mate. They made a point yesterday that you look at the Bespoke group, you've got the best female I've ever seen in life insurance in Janice Whitmore. Haley Little's not far behind her. You've got experience through people like the Gorman family, Sarah Coleman, Becky Piper, 20, 25 years experience age. And then you've got people, Brad Rathbones, irrelevant to what people might say on LinkedIn. The numbers are what they are. He's the best in the industry.
He's an incredible advisor, yeah.
You can't beat them numbers. And we've got like about 6 or 7 people who are the best in the industry at what they do and that consistently. So what that does is it creates a standard when people come in. So the youngsters, when I say youngsters, new people to the group, it's not about an age thing, youngsters, it's about new people coming to the industry. They only know winning. They only know certain standard of doing things. And that's really important. And the cultural architects, the leaders of the group, whether the managers or advisors or whatever it may be, they've created that environment and people just get pulled up by that, you know.
And do you think it's a benefit that you a lot, or do you think it's because of the way you grew up and your environment? Because your recruitment's very different from a lot of people. You're not necessarily looking for that polished person at the beginning. I'm sure Brad won't mind us discussing him. Incredible advisor. I think you took him from, was it warehouse type work? And he's the top biller in the country. Obviously, you've got to spot that talent, but at the same time, like from a recruitment perspective, if I'm honest, I probably wouldn't have even looked at him. And then, do you think that's part of it? Do you think that's part of the success is the talent spotting that for the people that haven't got the experience and the guys that are willing to kind of start from the ground up?
Maybe it's me. I think that, you know, coming from the street, being a street kid, which I'm very proud of, I think that do I think I've got an eye for it? You know, the successes would say probably, but then we've had some really bad failures where you'd question that and you'd be right to do so. I think that just by being a little bit more open-minded, when you're a street kid or when you're an addict like me, and you've got to find a way, you become very resourceful and you become very creative in trying to find a way. And you know, all of us, yourself included, who's a professional and an excellent recruiter, I've seen your work, and you know, all credit to you and respect to you and your wonderful firm. We're all shopping in a bit of a small shopping centre, we're fishing in a small pond. All we've done is just got to a different place where there's not really anybody there. The reality is in that place where we're looking, it's a lot more broad, it's not open, but it takes a lot more I want to say work involved to sort of get them ready, because you have to put the work in. But again, that comes down to the people to train the people, and the people to actually to train themselves and build up, and they've got to have the desire and want to get to that level. And it's crazy because the people who all salespeople, whatever industry, certainly financial services, they will have friends who are better than them at the job. We all do. It's just that we've sort of just fumbled our way into this job, probably because something went wrong along the way, because nobody wants to be a life insurance advisor or a mortgage
or a scumbag recruiter or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I think life insurance gets worse, right? We're the lowest of the low, aren't we? But it's you just fumble your way into it, and there's a reason somewhere along that. There's a lot of consistency in people who are in the industry.
That lowest of the low thing does frustrate me with protection, because I think personally, without being too cheesy about it, you're protecting people's families, and I don't know if there's a more. No, I know why. It's because of the unregulated side of the market. You know, the ones we're talking about, the call centres that are pushing £6 policies for people that aren't going to pay out, and so I understand that aspect of it. But from a financial services point of view, which I pride ourselves on knowing financial services, I think people like yourselves, for people to say it's the low end of the market is madness. It's the least regulated and it's the least have to be qualified, but you're protecting families. You know, I can't think of a more important thing to do.
Yeah, I get that, mate. I think it's a great point that you make. I think that call centre is a really interesting one. I'm not a fan of call centres, but the people within call centres, the staff in the call centres, they get some remarkable people there, you know, like some of the most skilled in the market. And it takes a really special person to be able to call 100 people a day, every single day, just going and going and going and going. And doing that amount of volume, we create a real skill set. So there's some wonderful people in call centres.
I don't think for me, it's not so much what the 100 call issue. It's the way they're targeted on the way they sell, maybe not doing the right thing for the customer. I think I think we have the same problem in mortgage broking, where we've got these sausage factories that bang out leads all day long. And are you doing the best thing for the customer? You know, and I think people like yourselves are, and that's probably why you shine through the Having said that, those boys are being sold, those boys are being bought and sold for many millions, so they're doing something right. If it doesn't fit with me, it fits with someone.
Yeah, I get you. I think, well, it's a really interesting one, and the reality is there's no right or wrong. The lead generation, it's a business, right, and there's a lot of money involved. So are you going to create cheese attracts rats? And I think that the lead gen companies who regurgitate stuff constantly, there's a real lack of empathy and love of the industry. It's just a business to them and a commercial opportunity. So how can people be at the forefront? And if you look at like, and the people in the call centers are really, really, I think they're quite replaceable, because they can just get a conveyor belt of people coming in and saying call them. But you get a really good skill set on the phone, and if you do it properly in the right environment, some of the best people I've seen have come from call center environments from our industry. Call center owners again.
I think if they leave for the right reason, it helps. They've got good system training there, and they leave for the right. They want to help a customer rather than bang out phone calls. But that's a nice fishing ground for you, because you treat customers properly. So it's a happy medium.
I get that. I've seen a lot of people in our industry who do self-gen stuff. You've got hunters and farmers, and a lot of hunters in our industry don't do the right job by the client. The reality is it's all subjective, right? It's all based on scarcity, and we think if call centers are they're taking business away from us. You know, I guess they'd probably have a similar opinion. With regards to life insurance being bottom of the food chain as such, it's probably the most skilled, because you've got to go out and self-gen and find your own clients and build your own personal brand up and find it from referrals and not buy leads in. But you know, ultimately everyone's trying to help people and feed the family. So
let's talk about that, actually, because I don't know many people who build up. You've got 100 odd people you've built on a referral basis. That's amazingly impressive. I speak to brokers who are still buying leads 5-6 years down the line, obviously treating people like transactions rather than the way you do. But talk to me about that. Talk to me about how that was obviously a conscious decision at the beginning that you weren't going to buy leads, that was going to be referral, and then and how you built the business on that through that.
Okay, mate. Yeah, great question. No problems at all. I think you only know what you know. Now, I come from Combine Insurance, and I went to MetLife, and their business was built upon going down the street and just the more hands you shake, the more money you make. It's all about volume and quantity, which I still believe is so important within sales. People are going to go online and say 4-tip guide to success, this beautiful funnel strategy that I can give you. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's true. But good luck to them. I believe in, being omnipresent, getting yourself out there, massive action. More hands you shake, the more money you make. I believe in relationships, and I believe in people. So I only knew that way, so I didn't know any other way. And I'd like to think that I'm good at the job, and I'm surrounded by good people. So we've created a really good culture that we can teach people how to do that. And our success rate of people in our company who have come in, learned the ropes, and are still with us being successful, and other people who come in, got trained by us, and have gone on to have other success as well. They got learned by us. They probably say they didn't, but they did. And yeah, and what we do works, so why not do it?
So you
set
set
those
out
are key, maybe relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we work the same. We're not hammering the phones all day. We work on referral, but you obviously have to do a good. I think perhaps people struggle with it because you've got to do a fantastic service for someone to get a great referral. So if you're bang average of what you do, you're not getting referrals. So maybe it's that fear for people. Also, the asking. Talk to me about that. So some people say, I spoke to a broker the other day actually. So they said, we only work off referrals. I said, how do you ask? And they said, well, we don't really ask. It's at the bottom of our email signature. I said, you don't ask. And actually, I use you as an example as to how you grow your business through asking. But when do you ask? What do you ask? And how do you go about it?
Because the beauty about the thing is, we're referrals, right? Salespeople, for some reason, if you're not getting referrals, anybody who's listening, you're not alone. It's the one thing that salespeople struggle with. The second one is making phone calls, because it's a horrible part of the job. It sort of puts all of your vulnerabilities under the microscope and makes you feel that small. But the reality is, if your need's bigger than your fear, you'll find a way to do it. If you're surrounded by the right people who give you a right process and the right training and culture and environment, you will find a way. I think with referrals it's training, and it's focus. It's got to be part of the process. And we ask at the beginning of the call. It's our energy. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our fabric. We ask at the beginning of the call or the appointment. We signpost, and we're very clear and say, look, we're going to ask you for referrals. Each person we speak to gives us 6 to 8 referrals, and we continuously talk about it, make it quite open throughout the appointment. At the end of the appointment, we sort of profile the type of client we're looking to speak to. It's really funny because sometimes when you go to Starbucks and you drink a hazelnut vanilla mocha chocolate latte with like almond milk, you'll get that, and they'll even write your name on it, the wrong name, but they'll write on it and give you a shout so you can come up and get it. So why would we ever go and not tell the client? We've got to give the client a chance to help us by saying, this is the exact type of person I'm looking for, and profile the type of client we're looking for. We use a 4-box strategy, so we do 4 different type of people: parents, homeowners, bald people, and self-employed people. Just off the top of my head, right? We'd be all right. So then you go in there and you say, right, there we go. You know what? You go in there, mate, and they say, they're the 4 people I'm looking to speak to. Can I just get 2 or 3 of each one? And then we'll say, go give them a message on WhatsApp. Let them know I'm going to call. I'll give them a call. I'll offer them some free advice. I'll try and save them some money. I might be able to help them. Off 8 numbers, I'll probably be able to help 2 or 3 people. And you know what, for each person, I'll make sure I give you a bit of a token gestures, a token of my gratitude, and get you a bottle of wine, or give you 50 quid in vouchers, whatever it may be. People have got different. I'm not here to say what you should be doing, but that referral technique works. And then ask them to post you on social media. And when you get your personal branding right on social media and the two come together, that's when magic happens. But it's amazing. I think the networks have got to do more. You think like there's a lot of trainers and gurus out there, and it's quite. What it does tell us, the self-development and training world, is that there's a desire for people to do more and get better and want to improve because they're investing in themselves. So first of all, that's brilliant, but that's created an industry. Like any industry, you get good, bad, and you get bluffers. And the networks really are taking a lot of money off people. The FCA have got to do more to sort of regulate the training side of what we do and accredit it and get people in to give the right training. When people come in and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, I'm one of them, like the Everest story again. If someone's going to take me to Everest, I want to make sure they've walked it before. because I want to get there safely and I want to get there in a nice time. But the networks really, if you're taking money off advisors and companies and human beings, you should offer the right training, and the training is just not good enough in our industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, but you just touched on something then that I'd love to touch on, and I'm sure people who are interested in as well, is about social media, because safe to say you're smashing it on there. And I know we've spoken before about kind of ignoring the algorithm, get out what you want to get out, make sure you're in front of people, like the omnipresence, that kind of thing. Tell me about, did that always start as a strategy, or was it just you started noticing that more success was coming from it and it built from there, or how did you kind of build up that social media presence?
Okay, yeah, really good question, mate. I think it is really important if you're in sales, especially the industry that I'm in, life insurance, sales, financial services. If you've got a business or a product yourself and you're trying to promote yourself, you need to use social media. It's crazy not to. It's sort of a gift from the gods for people who are within business, trying to build and grow something up for the families and a brand up. And if you're a leader of business, you've actually got an obligation to do so. The first day of lockdown, I did my first ever video with a company called Wonder Films. I'm sure you know Wonder, Chloe and Lover and Lou. And Michelle actually made me do it. She was saying, look, Lee, made me do it. She encouraged me to do it. She was saying, look, you've got to do it. Be yourself. Just all the mad shit you come up with, all the sayings you make up, all the experience you've got, the knowledge within the industry, the quirky mental stuff. That I am who I am, right? And I'm authentic. This is how I am from 4 in the morning to 11 at night. I'm a million mile an hour. I've got loads of quirky sayings. I'm quite opinionated. I guess I'm a bit Marmite, but I am what I am. I'm authentic. I don't know any other way to be. So when I put stuff out there, Michelle said, look, we've got to put that on camera and put it out there. I was a little bit reluctant. I was really awkward, really stiff, and I just wasn't slick. And over time, we've tried different companies. Some of them were brilliant. Social media companies ran our page. Some were great. We got mixed messages, and being the addict I am, I needed to know everything about social media. So I got really obsessive. I read every book. I watched every video. I've tried every strategy. And in the end, I just come up with a strategy where I wanted to not overthink it, and I just wanted to be myself. So sometimes I'll post and I'll post 2 minutes later. Sometimes I'll post a picture of my kids. Sometimes I'll say, I feel like jumping off a fucking bridge today. I feel that low, and I'll post it. Sometimes I feel like I'm on top of the world, and I'll post that. Sometimes I'll post knowledge about sales and skills because there's a dearth of information about that. Because, well, 2 reasons. A, because nobody wants to give away what they've got, and the B, hardly anyone's got it. Because the people in top positions in financial services are full of shit. There's about 3 of them who can do anything good. The rest of them at some of the networks are just an embarrassment to even be in the industry. The worst than the fucking crooks. But the social media thing, mate, I just fumbled my way there, and now I'm just myself. I'll post. I've got a simple strategy where I post at key times of the day: early morning, mid-morning, lunchtime, tea time, evening, and I'll just post them times. I'll just post whatever's on my mind. No strategy, no system. I don't care about algorithms or saturation and that bullshit. Post what's on my mind, mate. I just do it. I think people overthink. I think too many people are doing it's generic bullshit other people are doing, and they're taking advice off people who did the job before and failed. It doesn't make no sense to me. Again, the Everest story. I want someone who can get me to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll tell you what's interesting as well. People will find it interesting in that you didn't want to do your first one, because everyone I speak to says it's easy for you because you find it comfortable to be on, to do live stuff and to post. It's easy for you, and I'm like, it's not easy. It's horrible. It's daunting when you first do it. And now I don't even think about it because I think I phoned you up for advice. I don't think that was the first time I think we ever had spoken. And I said, I watch your stuff online and I don't know how you do it. And then you just said, just do it. It's the only answer. There's no strategy to it. And then
it's not easy at all.
It's crazy. Like it's a duty of care as well, like you said, to get out your knowledge like that. I'll tell you what someone said to me the other day, which is funny, about the abundance mindset. They said, you give away all of your clients online by speaking with them and talking about them. And I thought, that's crazy that people would think like that you would be so concerned. I've built up a client base over 10 years that me talking about them online, someone's going to steal them. Like, how close-minded is that? It's like you give away your sales advice.
Yeah, read T. Harv Eker, the Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. So what people do there is it's conditioning from being a child. That's what creates a scarcity mindset. So I'm from Winnie Banks, right? And we had a tough childhood. It won't get too much detail, but drugs and homes and all that stuff, nothing. We were what we were, but I wouldn't swap a fucking thing. I love my mum and dad. So like when you got up as a kid, you get told them at the posh end, cabbage and water, big mortgages, fair coat, no knickers. Then you get told things like, put that back. Can I have an ice cream? No. Get a chalk ice or a nice lolly. Do you think I'm made of money? Do you think money grows on trees? You'll know when you're paying the bills. Turn the lights off. You look at it, you get what you're given, and all these things. And say what they do is they create and condition our relationship with money and our mindset for going forward. So the amount of people that say you put too much online, you shouldn't do this, should that. Like by putting one post on it, I want to reach 1 billion people. I want to tell the world that I'm the best in the industry, which I am. Like I've worked that hard to get to that point. And you've got to have that open, abundant mindset. And I am, you know, the two most powerful words or phrase within our vocab is I am. I am everything I want to be. I'm the best ever. I help and many people. You know, I'm a person who I'm a disruptor. I'm a leader of the best team of all time. I'm part of a Primus family. I'm loyal, which is something that goes, you know, completely unnoticed in society nowadays, and certainly within our industry, people don't know the meaning of the word, and all these things that I am, everything I want to be. So it's just but read the right books and educate yourself. It's so important, because I didn't for a long time, and it was the thing holding me back.
Good. And so let's go back again. I ask everyone this in regards to like the failure side of things. If you could go back again and you were starting up Bespoke, and you knew what you knew now, is there anything that you think, right, I would have knocked that on the head, I wouldn't have done that, or I would have, any other different direction you can think of? You can't say buy Bitcoin.
No. Good one. Yeah, I probably would have done that. Yeah. No, you know what? I trust God, and I've got a journey with God and a path, and He knows better than me. And everything I've been through is actually leading me to a better place, and the experiences are making me better person, better father, better friend, certainly a better leader. And the failures are absolutely, it's not even like they're an important part of the journey, they are the journey, the part of getting you to where you need to be. And the experience and the knowledge and expertise you can gain through going through that, you couldn't put, talk about mentoring, failure is the best mentor, 100%. All the best mentors in the world, there's not one mentor in the world can teach you what failure can. And it's been such an important part of the journey. As with anything with me, I would say drugs, don't take drugs, because I should be dead. I should be dead about 10 times over, but I'm not, because God's got a plan for me.
In regards to, do you think this is relevant? Now, I think about this, like I'm a bit obsessed with success in other people, because I think I speak to people in the industry, I find it really intriguing. And I know you've talked about your addiction and that kind of thing, and this comes from a place of understanding, because I have a very obsessive personality. Do you think that coming from that mindset, that addiction, obsession, do you think that helps being a businessman? Because you find something else to obsess over, because it's not drugs anymore, like work is your drug. And do you think it helped?
Richard Coulson does, and I trust what Richard says. You know, he's got like 50 odd years experience at the elite level, and Richard says the elite ones, like the top ones, he said the 1%ers, they're all mad as a box of frogs. That's he's like, or mad as a ship's cat. Richard says, you're Geordie, right? So he says to me, all the 1%ers, and he says that would be me, Oliver Whitehead, John Morrison, Terry, Oliver Lodge. They're all mental, like they're all touched. Really,
I've said this before. Really, all the top people I speak to, you don't want to put it as a trait of successful people, but I also think that means if you're not there yet, don't worry if you're a bit weird, because it is a trait of really successful people. I don't know any vanilla people who are super successful.
Yeah, well, maybe I probably agree with that, but I also think like you've got to be odd to be number one, and I also feel like it's life. I spend so long. A lot of my issues and a lot of other people's issues come from trying to conform and trying to fit in. We spend all of our time trying to be like everyone else and fit in and please people and be part of it and gain friendship and gain acceptance, when, you know, what we actually admire and what we look up to and talk about a lot is the odd ones, the one who stood out a little bit. You know, it's crazy that we spend so much time trying to fit in, then talk about the ones who stood out.
Yeah.
It's in life, music and art and film, and obviously I stand out. But I'm the best in the industry, so I would stand out. You know, like to me, it doesn't. People say about like Mayweather, or they might say about me, Lee's fucking great, but if he didn't have the drugs, he'd be even better. Or Lee's this, but if he didn't say he was great, you just like him a bit more. Mayweather's brilliant, but if he wasn't so big-headed, you don't get one without the other. The two go hand in hand. You know, it's sort of like leverage, and that's what makes great people, that mindset and that thought process. Great people think
the people who say that have never done it.
Yeah, great minds think
differently. I've never got to where you are. It's easy for people to go, well, you should do this, or you should do that, but it's never someone above you that said that.
Well, listen, there's a really good point there, brother. Right. So many people say like you should do this, you should do that. They've never done it. You know what you should give them people? A bad neck looking up at you to go with the bad jaw they've got from talking shit all the time. The industry's full of them. Lee's this, Lee's that, Lee's a junkie. Like, we've heard it all before. Like fucking boring.
Yeah.
And
Does that drive you a bit more?
Talking,
That give you an extra.
the same old shit.
Yeah.
Same old shit all the time, mate. Negativity and jealousy and hate towards people succeeding in life. Do you know how I know that? Because I was the most jealous person out of all Marcus. I hated everyone being successful. Someone said to me, Marcus is flying, I go, oh, just because he's from a rich family, I was in a nice area. And I was so hate-filled because I was so unfulfilled. Yeah. Hate-filled comes from being unfulfilled. I never reached my purpose. But you know what, actually, when you get to the top, you know the top people, yourself being one, they're happy for other people doing well. Tom Smith, Rick Dawson, Tony Smith, Oliver Whitehead, Terry Blackburn, Michelle Carter, Nathan, Dad, they're just Janice, they're happy for people doing well. They say, I'm so happy for you, well done. And you know what great people do and winners? They talk differently to losers. It's a different conversation at this table.
It's genuine as well, isn't it? It's genuine.
Yeah.
You can tell when you speak to people. Like, I love success. I love it. I love listening to brokers. I love it when it goes well. I think that's why recruitment suits me, because you see people's businesses grow. So it's not yours, but I'm a natural cheerleader over maybe a natural leader. I like supporting people, you know, so I get that. I don't understand how you cannot get joy in watching someone win. It's but then I think that's a mind. Have you ever done your talent dynamic? Have you ever done when they read your mind, you know, you finish all the questions and you find out what. So I looked at mine, I thought it was really interesting, because in your head, I think like a good salesperson, and then when it said that you're a good supporter, you're a good cheerleader, I kind of fought it for a bit, and I was like, actually, that's a good, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with me cheering on other businesses is what makes my business good. So I think it's a win. It took me a while though, because I wanted to be like, you know, you in your head you're Wolf of Wall Street, but actually you're a cheerleader.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to be Wolf of Wall Street. I called myself. I'd love to do that game. It's really interesting actually. I love trying new things and learning about yourself, because you can then teach other people and help them. The Wolf of Wall Street was one for me. I even called myself Flan Wolf for a long time on Twitter. Just fucking cringe. I get hammered off everyone. In my own mind, you know, like coming from like the drug background, and it was Wide Awake Suit. It was in 2010, 2011, I think the film came out, and I'd read his book, and it was the Wolf, and everyone called me the Wolf of MetLife, the Wolf of Teesside, and you sort of like build up this alter ego character when he's just a fucking crook. Truth is, he's nowhere near my level. I'd have him, if it was a boxing match, me and Belfort, he wouldn't last one round with me. I'm so far superior to him in sales. It's unbelievable.
I'm so glad you said that, because so many people give him this crazy respect, but he stole from people. He stole people's pensions. He ripped people off. He's a scumbag, but we all love him because of the Wolf of Wall Street film. But that doesn't picture the man is. He stole people's pensions.
He's a wrong mate. Watch Grant Cardone's interview with him. Grant Cardone puts it on him massive style. It's fucking fascinating.
Does he?
I think he goes a bit too far, gets a bit uncomfortable, but he really puts it on him and says all the things, calls him a little rat. But just take away the crime point of view. He could do crime, I could do normal. If it was a boxing match, he wouldn't last one round with me. I'm just so far superior to him from a skill point of view. That he's nowhere near my level here. So, you know.
Good. Let's go into, because we talked about it before, and I know that you follow a similar kind of ritual to me, if you like, in regards to like your gratitude. Yeah, that didn't sound weirder than it was actually. Like your gratitude and your mantras and that kind of thing. A couple of years ago, I thought this sort of thing. I thought that sort of thing was crazy. I thought people that did it were mental. I didn't understand how you could manifest something. I still don't think you can fully manifest something without hard work and drive, but I don't think you can do that without the sat nav of the law of attraction. But talk to me about that. Talk to me about how like gratitude has changed you. And I know everyone, I've seen stuff with your company, and they kind of joke about how you're the thank you man. You know, you say 500 thank yous before. So talk to me about that and what it means to you.
Cool. Well, you study great people, right? And success leaves clues. When you study greatness, winners, leaders, disruptors of generations, of industries, of sport, whatever it may be, they all have similar mindsets. They've all got a lot of common themes throughout them. And one of them is gratitude is one of the keys to unlocking more abundance, more prosperity, more happiness, more positive things in your life. It just is. And the more successful people you read about and watch and study, all practice it. So why not? Why would you not follow someone who's walked the mountain before? So for me, if you take the G and the R off the word gratitude, it just says attitude. That's really important. law of attraction. The second part of the word attraction is action. You do need action to strike that match, otherwise it won't work. And for me, it just helps with my mindset. A massive part of sales is mindset and actual where your headspace is, because I've seen some people in training, mate. I don't know about yourself, whether it be sport, when I played football a long time ago, and I had a few more hairs and a few less pounds, and I had my own teeth then. But you know what, like, I trained with some people, brother, right, and they were fucking brilliant in training. I'd look at them and go, you do things that I can't do. You know, in training now, like Becky Pye, a girl who I work with, she does things, and I don't know how to do that. Sean Harris, Helen Gorman, my brother Aaron, they do things, you know, just from a genius point of view, and I go, I don't know how you did that. That's just something I can't physically do. But you've got to be able to carry that into the ring on match day, be able to go, and them guys can, by the way. But I'm just saying, sometimes you see things go, it's about carrying it in, and that just comes down to mindset. I really believe that mindset is what's different. It's a major part of separating. 2 seconds, please.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
So I think mindset separates good to great. I really genuinely do, and it is a skill. Why would you? I think being a great salesperson is down to mindset. It just separates good to great. It just does. Why would you not try that?
About the mindset, you know, you said it's a skill. Obviously, you have to train skills. So it doesn't come easy straight away, does it? I know people would look at it and think like the law of attraction may be bullshit to them because they haven't done it. And until you see something work, it's like being in the gym. If you go once, you're never going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You have to train it. You have to train it.
To train it was sales is a skill. People go to me, natural born salespeople. Bullshit. I've never heard so much dribble in all my life. There's no such thing. No such person's ever been born a natural born salesperson. Because it's not a physical attribute thing. It's not like a basketballer where he's 7 foot tall.
Yeah. Really tall, yeah.
It's a skill. Life can chip away at you and give you the characteristics, or you know, they can sort of emphasize them and really put them on steroids, certain characteristics that you need to sort of get great at sales. But it is just a skill. And the key thing is with law of attraction and mindset. One thing I learned a long time ago was like, just stop arguing. People go to me, bullshit. There he is, Mr. Gratitude, Mr. Happy, and I go, no problems, good. So-and-so said they're better than you. No problems, cool. Because I'm just that focused and clear on my goals and who I am and what I'm doing, that nothing else deters me from that. It's a lack of confidence.
It blows my mind now it blows my mind how people can say it doesn't work. Like the most successful people I know believe it. Yeah. The unsuccessful people don't. Like there's not a major science behind that. Just look around you. Look at the grateful people. Look at the people with good mindset. Look at the people, the driven people, because they're happy. And I do think there's still knobheads that make loads of money, but I don't think they're the happiest. I don't think they're the best at what they do. I just think there's a few that slip through the net. You can be a dickhead and actually you can still be a rich dickhead. But
yeah, you can be a rich dickhead. But I think even with that one, visualization, I don't believe that nobody in the world doesn't visualize, both positive and negative. And people who say it doesn't, I don't do. I think it genuinely is a secret that they don't want to give away. We all visualize certain moments in our life, our relationships, victory, success, prosperity, money, family, whatever. Even in the morning, you sort of like, even waking up in nightmares, it's part of who we are to visualize. It just is. And careful what you wish for, because it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It works both ways as well, doesn't it? But I think with the gratitude thing, training yourself to be grateful is the easiest thing in the world, because it gets easier and it's genuine. You know, I don't think there's an easier skill to practice than being grateful. So I don't want to keep
I used to get called a fucking heroin addict, so thank you, man. I'll make it. Thank you for that.
I won't keep you too much longer. I know I appreciate your time. What I want to do, any advice that you can give to young brokers? We do get a lot of new people that sign up for this and want the recordings and stuff to look at, because they do aspire to be like people like yourself, and that's obviously that's an honor and a privilege as well for successful people. But any advice you can give people early on in their journey that you think will make a difference to them now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would think I'm just going to make some notes as I'm doing this one because it's important. So first of all, it's an honor to get looked into like that. It means a lot to me, and I take it deadly serious. So I reply to every single message, every comment we get. I'll always try and help out with it. The 4 key things to being a good salesperson are making phone calls. How would be great on a call? You've got to become great at a call. So get the environment, it should get the right time. It should be on a Thursday or a Friday night or a Saturday morning you do your appointment booking. It should be a time when people are sitting down. Don't be making calls from 9 to 5, nobody answers, or very few people do. Get a script, intro, reason, close. Remember the bullet points, that speed kills. Do things punches and bunches, bam, bam, bang, bam, bam, bang, bam, bam, bang. Get really big swag, because you're going to face an ocean of rejection and success. According to Winston Churchill, who knows a lot better than me, went from one failure to the next with the same level of enthusiasm. I call it swag. So phone calls, the second one is that speed kills. You need to be able to close an appointment and one sale in 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. That's massive. No one even sits down for dinner no more. We just eat on the go. No one sleeps for more than 5-6 hours a night. You've got to be able to do an appointment in 20 minutes. The third one is getting referrals. More hands you shake, the more money you make. It's all relationships. That's all sales is. That's all building a team is. Leading a team, winning. It all comes down to people. You can't even want to say I do it by myself, but you still sell to people. You still need people to process your wages to. You need somebody. Yeah. It's all people. And the fourth one is you've got to have branding. You've got to have a presence on social media. Like our mentor Tom was a legend, great guy. You've got to be omnipresent. You've got to be out there. People don't know you. They won't buy from you. Obscurity and the lack of activity is an absolute salesperson's cancer. So them 4 things I would study. My sales beliefs is study's a massive one of them. Study yourself. Study the best. What do the best work? What colour ties do the work? What time of day do the post? Who are the clients? Where are they shopping for the clients? How do they do the business? What scores do they do? Study your product knowledge, study your rivals, study history, study the future, study your environment, study the sports, study the local area, see what's going on big in the area, study where you need to be. Study is so important because all the best people that you know, they've all got abundant, open mindsets, looking to improve and get better constantly all the time. Heart's a really big one for me. You've got to have lots of heart, then you've got to have a good heart, lots of heart where you can face rejection, just keep on going. You've got to have that fucking grit. You've got to have a big heart when you want to do the right thing for the right reasons. I could go on all day, mate, for salespeople. It's so important. But,
I mean, that's what people need to hear. It makes sense. I love the bit about learning. I know I said I was going to leave it there, but I just wanted to get across as well, because I sat in your sales manager meetings and I also see stuff from your the people that work with you, that you guys are constantly training people, you're constantly learning, no one is the finished article. And I think that's incredible. People should take that on board, because there's a reason that you've got maybe 6 of the top 10 people in the country. And they still do training every week. Like your Brad, top earner in the country, still works Saturday mornings improving himself. Like that's a mindset that people have to. If you genuinely want to be the best, that you've got to keep learning.
Yeah, you do. You look at history. Usain Bolt doesn't just get up, run out of bed and go ping. I'm going to run 9 seconds, 100 meters. He's got to work at that. He's got to be at it constantly. And I believe in the 10,000 hour rule. I believe in hard work. I believe in sacrifice. When people say work smart, not hard, I'm automatically suspicious of them.
I'm not sure why they have to be separate things, working hard and smart. I don't know why you can't do both.
Scarcity mindset. That's why. Work hard, not smart. Do both. People say quality over quantity. Do both. Like, it's mental. It's scarcity mindset. What is it a choice? One or the other, right? If I only got what, I'll do both, and I'll do them. But the best people do the basics very well, consistently, a lot more than everyone else does. I remember watching The Last Dance, which is one of my best of all time, and I watched it thinking, how do I get as good as Michael Jordan at basketball or better at life insurance? And one of the key things I noticed was that Kobe Bryant saying when he played against him the first time, God bless his soul, may rest in peace. I took Kobe Bryant's work ethic. He's one of the people I modeled my work ethic on.
Yeah.
The second one, when he talked about Jordan, who was his hero, he said what surprised me when I played him was his fundamentals were just 10 out of 10. They were just sound, but he wasn't the fastest runner. He wasn't the tallest. He didn't have the biggest handspan. He couldn't jump the highest. He just fundamentals were just boom, 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 and he was so consistent in it. So it was his mindset and his basics that made him the greatest of all time. What do you want? I know the greatest in our industry. It's Ollie Whitehead, Richard Coulson, John Morrison, and I've got nothing but admiration, love, and respect for them people. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with all of them, and I want to try and join them on Mount Rushmore, and I'll fucking kill myself trying to do it, brother.
You get there, yeah, absolutely. Good stuff, mate. I really appreciate your time. As I said before, hopefully this resonates with a lot of brokers, just in regards to pulling their finger out, if nothing else. So I don't have to explain to people about why they have to stop buying leads. But if anyone's got any questions, obviously this recording goes out to anyone that couldn't make it. If anyone's got any questions for Lee or myself, you can Lee will always answer anything you message him on LinkedIn. I'll give you that private phone number and you can ring him whenever you like. But in all seriousness, I really appreciate it, mate. It's really, hopefully this resonates with a lot of people, and I will catch up with you soon.
Please do, brother. Can I get a picture of us for my socials? Is that all right? Omnipresent. All right. There you go, bro. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. God bless everyone. Good luck. Top man, Max. Lots of... Cheers, mate. Bye.